The industry assumption Bible animation has been placed in a very specific category for decades, not because the stories themselves are childish, but because studios operate on a predictable audience model. In the US, faith based content historically performs strongest with families who have young children, a demographic that consistently purchases physical media, supports educational programming, and attends family focused events. From an industry standpoint, studios follow the money. Animated biblical projects made for kids have a long sales history, DVDs, church licenses, and homeschool markets. Adult oriented biblical animation does not, meaning there's no reliable precedent or financial data to justify large budgets. Because of that, studios reflexively categorize biblical animation as a kids only product. This influences everything: art, direction, tone, funding, marketing, and even how scripts are written. There's nothing wrong with the existing lane, but it dramatically limits what the medium could offer. This narrow framing overlooks how powerful the book of Genesis actually is. These stories are foundational mythic narratives filled with symbolism, emotional depth, ancient cosmology, and spiritual weight. They have more in common with Dune or Lord of the Rings than the kindergarten programming. Industry-wise, this gap exists because Western studios rely heavily on prior performance data when greenlighting projects. Since adult biblical animation has almost no precedent, studios perceive it as too high risk. Meanwhile, live-action biblical content has proven demand, especially with the rise of successful independently funded projects like The Chosen, which have demonstrated that audiences will support faith-based storytelling that is artistic, serious, and aimed at adults. Yet, that momentum hasn't crossed over into animation, leaving a massive creative and cultural opportunity untouched.
Animation can be more than cute. Another misconception deeply rooted in US market history is that animation is mostly for children. This belief formed in the 1980s to early 2000s when the majority of profitable animated content came from toy-driven kids shows or family films. But globally, animation is far more diverse. Adult animation has grown by double digits, with shows like Castlevania, Arcane, and Blue-Eyed Samurai attracting massive adult audiences. Even in the West, studios are starting to branch out. While not biblical, these projects prove that adult audiences want complex animated storytelling. But biblical animation still lags behind because it hasn't yet been reintroduced to the market in a mature cinematic form. The truth is, animation can portray symbolism, myth, and spiritual metaphors in ways live action simply can't. It's uniquely suited for Genesis, it just hasn't been used that way yet. If you believe Genesis deserves to be treated with cinematic weight and artistic reverence, and if you've been wanting to see a project that takes biblical storytelling as seriously as shows like The Chosen take live-action faith-based narratives, then following your Kickstarter pre-launch page truly does help. Early interest signals to future partners, distributors, and platforms that an adult audience for biblical animation does exist. It's one small action that contributes to reshaping an entire category of storytelling. And with enough support, we can finally bring this kind of Genesis film to life.